Thank you very much. And you know, I feel a lot more relieved today because Rob Gage is not here. In fact, I had to read the almanac last night from cover to cover just to prepare myself for Rob. But, you know, that's the way it happens. Again, I want to thank y'all for allowing me as mayor to come and speak to you and give you a little bit about our state of the city. I must tell you that I'm not going to do what the President of the United States did. I'm not making you sit next to someone you dislike. For over 25 years, I've been coming in January and February to speak to local groups to go over our accomplishments the past year and a little bit of our outlook for the coming year. And this year, for the first time ever, I want to depart just a bit from my usual format. Because of all the recent publicity about changes in our city's privilege tax, license tax, I want to cover that first, because in case the Rotary is notorious, as you know, because I was in here for many years, of leaving early. Well, I want to make sure those that leave early know about this topic. And the latest is there's no change in our privilege license tax this year. The increases that were recommended and approved in December have been rescinded or will be rescinded Monday night at the City Council meeting, as well as the contract. Again, I want to say, for your benefit, there will be no privilege license tax increase. Financial state of our city. I can tell you for now that we are in great financial shape. Unlike some governmental units in the country, we're not facing imminent default on any of our obligations. Our annual audit for 2009 and 2010 was completed with an unqualified opinion being issued by our CPAs, and it was an excellent opinion. And we have again been recognized with a Certificate of Achievement for our annual financial report. Unless you believe all the negative coverage in the national media, let me tell you now that there are many, many good things happening in this great community. Whatever else, please don't lose sight of that fact when you leave here today. Now, there is a positive news, and I'm going to tell you about that, is in the past year, 276 building permits for $10.1 million were issued for new construction and improvements in our city limits. 16 new businesses opened their doors in our downtown. We reached agreement with a developer to build a $7.5 million retirement complex across from Comma. And we believe that we're the logical choice for the new Over Mountain Victory Trail headquarters and visitor center to be built by the National Park Service. We completed the fourth phase of the Catawba Meadows Park and phase 2 of the soccer complex. We finished the South Sterling Street Railroad Underpass beautification project. We did the bicycle lanes for Rob Gage. And you've got a good memory. And also the first phase of our Greenway Connector project. Many of our city departments have had to do more in spite of imminent and continued budget cuts. The department heads and their staffs have been going after federal, state, and private grant funds. In the past year, we saw a grant of over $270,000 in assistance pledged to 7 downtown businesses and 3 downtown property owners. Our county, with assistance from city staff, received a $328,000 Golden Leaf grant for promoting travel and tourism in Burke County. Our Department of Public Safety was awarded grants of over $167,000 for training and equipment. Here's some more good news that you may not have heard. Our Water Resources Department obtained $10.5 million in funding from the State Revolving Fund to address equipment failures at our waste treatment facility. And last year, we made a final payment on the money borrowed 7 years ago to upgrade our cable system. Now the system will be generating significant revenues for this wonderful city. Because of its outstanding reputation, our city electric utility was selected over other local providers for both the new Walmart and the Glenwood Hills apartment complex on 64 South. Our electric system has a reliability index of 99.993%. And that's, ladies and gentlemen, that's the percentage of time that our customers have uninterrupted power. Our Public Works Department was involved in several projects, including very important structural repairs and painting to our old historic courthouse. They also applied to receive $26,000 in reimbursements from FEMA, dealing with the storm last year. Our Parks and Recreation Department was internationally recognized for its Red, White, and Bluegrass Festival when it was named one of the top 3 such events in the world in 2010. And we just received a press release yesterday that it's one of the Southeast Tourism Society's top 20 events for July 2011. That event alone brought visitors from throughout the United States, as well as, and hear me, Japan, Germany, Holland, and Australia, and not to mention all the good vibes and coverage, media coverage, that came to the city of Morganton and Burke County. And in spite of the downturn in the economy, Bill Wilson's comma continued to see stable subscription sales and steady streams of visitors to view the Ben Long fresco. As I believe you can plainly see that there are many, many positive things happening in Morganton. So you may ask why we're looking to cause such a ruckus by raising the privilege license tax. The one and only reason is that our revenues are shrinking. Look in your local newspaper any day, and you'll see a full page or more of foreclosure announcements. Many of our once stalwart manufacturers have moved offshore or closed their doors altogether, as they have left us with a very low tax base. And even though we still manage to collect 99% of the taxes that we're owed, like all local governments are struggling to make ends meet. Our sales tax revenues are down, franchise taxes are down, interest rates down. Many of these existing sources of income are under threat. You know, our governor has said that she won't privatize the state ABC system, but the legislature has yet to make a similar pledge. If, for instance, our local ABC store goes away, then over $250,000 in profit we saw in the city from that store last year could go away as well. 2 cents on our tax rate. And as the state looks to solve its revenue shortfalls, if recent history is any indication, they may well try to do it by taking our revenues and county revenues. Remember one thing, our state's $3.7 billion shortfall is one of the highest in the country. And we're the 3rd largest state employee base behind Wake County and Orange County in Burke County. And you read articles in the paper about that. Now, anytime I say that what a lot of folks will ask me, why not cut the city budget? Well, my friends, this year's general fund budget is almost $1 million smaller than it was last year. And in all, we've trimmed more than $6 million from the general fund over the last 3 years. Some others will suggest that we cut our workforce. And I have to remind them that our current hiring freeze, our full-time workforce today, is 10% less than it was 5 years ago. Our employees are into their 2nd year of a pay cut, and we've seen numerous furlough days on our calendar everywhere. Plus, I would ask you to keep in mind that the city doesn't manufacture goods like PCA and other manufacturers here in Burke County. If our orders were all 50% and we manufactured goods, we'd curtail operating all 5 days of the week. But in the city, providing services is our business. Regardless of the economy, when you pick up the phone and call public safety, you don't want someone to tell you that we can't come tonight because we're all on furlough. No matter how tight the budget is, we'll still have to treat the water, your wastewater, we'll have to keep the power on and pick up your garbage. And do it all with our citizens watching us, and doing it the way we want it done. So when our staff looked at towns and cities around, they saw that compared to other municipalities, our privilege license tax was one of the lowest in the state of North Carolina. One of the lowest in the state of North Carolina. They recommended bringing it up to the level similar to Hickory, Lenore, Shelby, Black Mountain, Asheville, Charlotte, all the vast cities that have privilege license taxes. But those of us on the city council realize that while this is a valid idea, now is not the time to pursue it. So we changed our minds after listening to the input of those who would be impacted the most at our last meeting of the city council. But the problem, ladies and gentlemen, still remains. We still have to find appropriate savings and revenues to keep our city moving forward. To that end, we've begun the process of empowering 2 citizen groups to assist us. Some of you in this room may have been asked to serve. One group of Morganton residents and county will be asked to help us explore revenue opportunities, and another completely separate group will be asked to assess our services and recommend what we may alter, eliminate, or privatize to reduce the cost to our community. You know, I've already heard from a lot of citizens. I've done 3 State of the City addresses already this week. And some people say don't close such and such. Don't eliminate that. Some have said we can't reduce our workforce anymore, or we won't be able to provide services. And to all those folks, I want to say that anything and everything is on the table. We expect both of these citizens groups to make their recommendation to us in time for our 2011-12 fiscal year budget. But I don't want to end my presentation on just a down note. You see, when I first ran for mayor, I believed that Morganton was a very special place. The years and the challenges that have come along since then have never changed my mind. There's no place in the state like Morganton. And I also assure you that as long as I remain mayor, Morganton will continue to do all the things that make our community a very special place. You know, I once heard a motivational speaker here at Rotary, in fact, say that there's no such thing as a problem, but only opportunities. In the next 5 months, we're going to have a chance to see if he knew what he was talking about. With your help, your prayers, we'll be able to prove him right. And in the remaining time, I'm happy to receive any kind of questions that you